Welcome, everyone, to the Future Footprint stage. I'm so excited and so ready to get into this next yarn. And where we are right now, we are celebrating deadly mob from across Australia that are pursuing their passions and inspiring young people to pursue their passions as well. And today, with this yarn, we're actually talking with Jiah Reidy, who is a graduate officer at the Department of Health. But with his journey that we'll be discovering just now is what he has done, what are the things in his life that he's going through, all those kind of ins and outs of life for a young person, First Nations person, pursuing their passion and out there just smashing it. And so I can't wait to hear from Jiah. And I'd like to formally welcome Jiah Reidy and ask the first question, if you can just share who is your mob and where you're from, brother.
So I'm Jiah Reidy, as you said, Scott. I'm from a small country town in the wheat belt called Quirting. Couldn't tell you what the population is. Probably they say 1,000 on the website, but it's probably more like 500, 600 or something like that. I'm a Noongar man. I've ties to both Whadjuk and Balladong country. I have five siblings, 4 sisters, 1 brother, and that's a little bit about me.
Absolutely. Young fellow from Quirton. So did you have to travel into Perth for schooling?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to go to get a boarding scholarship at Aquinas College. So yeah, I pretty much lived at school. I'd go back on any like exit breaks, like long weekends and school holidays and whatnot.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I was pretty much living at the school. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And we've been hearing from a lot of young First Nations people that have to travel for schooling. And I'd love to hear your story and ask you, what was it like in high school and going the ins and outs of being a boarder at Aquinas?
Yeah, it was definitely a big change. You go from a small country town to a school that's got more students than you have people in your town. So it was definitely a big culture shock. But I was quite prepared, I guess, because we're not too far away from Perth. So Quirting's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Perth. So we would quite regularly visit Perth to see family or just go shopping. So it was a bit of a culture shock, but I feel like I was quite prepared for the city life.
No, definitely. And because you talk about culture, then we'd like to ask, like, how was that in terms of, I guess, balancing, your cultural obligation and also, that connection to home while being at Aquinas? What was that like?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. See, I grew up with culture and like language and stuff in my family, but it wasn't really predominant. So it would be, I'd kind of had tasters throughout my life. So it wasn't this fully involved cultural experience that I grew up in. So I guess it was just kind of, a lot of it was just, we'll go out camping, go catch a few kangaroos, listen to a few stories. And I guess just whenever I went back home on the weekends or school holidays, just trying to keep doing that kind of stuff and just trying to stay involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And why was that? Like, because there's a lot of young people, across Australia that will be listening in, and that balance of culture is quite, significant when you talk about that preservation, but also that transfer of knowledge. And I was going to ask, was there like any particular reason why, like, you weren't able to, like, learn or like be immersed too much in your culture? Is that like stolen generation or anything like that
Yeah,
impacted you?
I'd definitely say a lot of that stolen generation, and also being, in Perth or like just out of Perth, there's a lot of farming development, and a lot of the land here has been taken over. So we don't have the flexibility to kind of be out on country as a lot of people do around Australia. So I guess that's probably one of the major factors in that, is that, you know, a lot of this area is being farmed. It's being, you know, a lot of houses, a lot of developments on it. So, you know, you kind of have to clear the land there, and it can be a bit hard to connect, I guess, at times. So I feel like that'd probably be one of the bigger things I've found as a Noongar in the southwest here. Is a lot of this area has just, there's stuff already here, so you know it feels like the stories are kind of fading as everything kind of takes over.
Yes. Yeah, modernity, all those kind of things that, yeah, definitely. And with that, you know, that struggle, especially with the culture and, you know, a young person traveling away from home, you know, what was there for you, like to support you? Or do you know if there like any supports there are now for young people?
Yeah, so I was very very fortunate in terms of my support networks. Both my parents are very supportive. They really wanted me to get away, get a good education, have as much opportunity as I could, and you know, that's the main reason why I got out of the small country town, is because it's great for primary school, but there's not as much opportunity once you get to high school and beyond that. So it was really important for me to get out of there with the support of my family, and
Yeah.
I guess moving away and going to such a great school with so many great networks, so much great support around you. It's just kind of, I suppose, always there. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've had a great support network. Um, if I ever needed assistance, I could ask my parents or teachers at school or other mentors that I've had along my journey. And I guess just trying to use those networks as well to find other support networks and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, definitely. And it's so important to have those support there. And as you can see, with that support, young people can be guided to take on and even build those foundational skills to go and try and be whoever they want to be. And in saying that, I wanted to ask you, in terms of the end of your schooling in the 11 year 12, was there any kind of like subjects, even a passion, or even teachers that were there guiding you, or even a subject that really inspired you know, you to pursue a passion even into university, or will go through? What was your initial plans like at year 12?
Yeah, so I always knew that I was going to go to uni.
Yeah,
I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and
yeah,
so I decided to do mathematics applications, English, ATAR, human bio, and PE studies. And in year 11, I was doing physics as well. But then I dropped that in year 12 just because the math. I found a lot of the content. Um, I wasn't keeping up to it because most people that were doing physics were doing the math above that as well, so math methods. So they were kind of
yes,
getting the double up. And
yeah,
I just found that I was kind of falling behind, and it wasn't
okay,
really a strong passion of mine. So I decided to drop that for a study unit where I could kind of focus on the subjects that I really enjoyed. And you know, being a young bloke that loves sport, I was definitely drawn to PE and human bio.
yeah,
I always try to find ways and figure out a few things that might be able to help me in my sport journey, playing
yeah,
football. So I played football all my life, love it to bits. And yeah, I guess it was just kind of my way of being like, how can I use this knowledge that I'm learning in class to help me pursue my dream of, you know, one day maybe making the AFL and whatnot. So I guess that being one of the main driving factors for that dream. But then also, I always knew that I wanted to be involved with either education or health because
yeah, brilliant.
I don't know, they're just two really big passions of mine, and I think they've got a really important place in society and in the world. And there are a lot of poor health outcomes for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders in particular. Um, for, and my sorry, have a lot
Yeah,
of family as well with some significant like chronic health problems, like diabetes is a
yeah,
massive problem
absolutely.
that I found, particularly in my close family. So I guess trying to be aware of that and realizing that, I want to try
Yeah.
help in some way.
Yeah, no, definitely, and you can see that forming with a lot of those select subjects that you were talking about, but also leading into having like even though football is often AFL this thing that we romanticize, and also for a lot of young Aboriginal people is one of those things that we all dream to be, but to have that backup plan that is also guided by a passion to support and help people is so important. And I was just going to ask you because going through that and establishing that at a young age is quite, often is unique. And because a lot of people are still unsure at that period of their life. What were your friends doing? Like, were they, having a set that a passion already, or what were they talking about? What were they doing?
Yeah, I guess during high school, everyone was just kind of being at quite an affluent school such as Aquinas. A lot of people have like quite high drive and quite high ambitions. So, a lot of people were choosing subjects like physics or chemistry because they wanted to do engineering and whatnot. However, I found after my schooling journey,
Yeah,
a lot of people kind of realised that maybe uni's not for them. So a
yeah,
lot of my mates tried uni for a few months,
yeah,
decided it's not for them. So they went out, got some casual work, took some time to, think, and then they'd try out a few apprenticeships,
yeah,
just working around the place, traveling, working. And then some of those people have even come back to uni because they realize that they actually want
yeah,
to, pursue a uni career. So I guess just a lot of people are doing a lot of different things. And
yeah.
I guess that's a part of everyone's journey, really, is just
Yes.
trying a few things out and seeing where it takes you.
Absolutely. And that's I would like to also extend that to, for me, I went to boarding school and I had heaps of mates back home. And often there's a differentiation between, a lot of pathways in like a prestigious boarding school compared to at home. What were your friends doing, back at home in Croydon?
Yeah. So I had a lot of uh, friends growing up through quoting and whatnot, and a lot of them were fortunate enough to get away
Yeah,
and go to a school as well. But I've noticed a few of the others, they weren't as fortunate, and they kind of got caught up in
yeah,
the lifestyle around there. So just getting distracted and not really paying attention in the class, that started affecting their attendance rates and whatnot, and they just didn't really, I guess, have that drive um, to really kind of pursue anything because they were kind of in this
yeah,
bubble where you don't really see anything beyond this bubble, and
yeah,
it's kind of
absolutely.
sometimes you just kind of get stuck in that, and you're like, well, if everyone else is doing it, well,
Yeah.
why don't I just do it?
I-
There's no need for me to try extend myself beyond that. So I feel like, yeah, just the opportunity to
yeah.
get out and see something different really opened up a lot of things for me.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think you make a great point there. And I think with your story is so valuable to share that you went away and then you started to explore these things, but were exposed to all these opportunities. And for those that might be sitting home in your hometown listening, or those across in regional areas, what could you say in terms of that pathway for you, like getting into, being a graduate officer at the moment? What happened? Like, from graduating high school to your position now, what were those key, decision making that you had to do to get to where you are today?
Yeah. So with my role in the health department, it all started. Well, I'll go back. Finished high school.
Yeah,
I was kind of thinking about do I have the year off? I wasn't really driven to study at that stage. Just finishing like ATAR and Year 12 and whatnot, I was kind of over the study kind of
Yeah, of
Based
course.
there for
Yeah.
a bit. And I was contemplating moving back home, working a bit, and driving up most days to get the footy training, and then maybe going back to uni the year after, seeing where that took me, and just really give footy a crack for a good year. But I ended up changing my mind at the last minute and decided to go to St. Catherine's College. So it's a residential college across the road from UWA,
Yep.
and decided to go to UWA and study sports science and exercise and health.
Oh, awesome.
And yeah, from there I was just kind of going about my business, going to uni and whatnot for the first semester, and then I kind of dropped off the next 2 semesters. I was just kind of struggling with that drive and motivation to actually attend uni. Like you go from high school where it's like you have class from
Yeah.
8 to 3, be here, here, and here. You got teachers checking off your name every
Absolutely.
class. So yeah, it's kind of an easy routine to follow. It's not ideal for a young student, but it's kind of, you already got that routine set out for you. And then you go to uni and it's like, oh yeah, you have these things called lectures where we tell you everything you need to know, but you don't actually have to come to it if you don't want to. And I guess early on it was kind of, oh, that's pretty cool. Like I don't actually have to do any of this work. I just got to do like put in an assignment here or there, and I just live a carefree life. And yeah, I shortly found out that you kind of have to rock up to those lectures if you want to get some good results. And yeah, so I kind of had that going on for a period where I didn't really want to didn't go to class, and my results suffered because of that. And then I kind of had a moment where I was like, oh, what are you doing here? Like
Absolutely.
if you're going to stick with this uni thing, well, you got to give it a crack. Like you just got to, actually start trying and show up and put a bit of effort into it.
With that, was there anyone like there like that sparked that, that questioning, or was it like just you kind of absorbing all the information, looking at where you're going, and just realizing what you have to do in order to get to where you want to get to,
Yeah. I think it's a combination of both things. I guess I had a lot of good friends around at uni, my family and whatnot. I guess I just kind of, saw a few changes in me, and I guess made me aware of that. And I was kind of, I kind of took a bit of self-reflection and decided to, have an honest talk to myself and like, well, what do you want to do? Like, if you don't want to pursue this, then that's okay. Go do something different, but you got to be doing something different. You can't just,
Absolutely.
live this carefree lifestyle for your whole life. So yeah, I guess I was quite fortunate with those support networks that we spoke about earlier, that they were able to keep me on track when, I was kind of losing my pace a bit there. And as for my current job, so my final year that I graduated, the health department have this cadetship program.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much you get to work in the health department for a year.
Yeah.
You work like 1 day a week. It's a part scholarship, part paid work kind of job going on there, I guess. So it's good. It's good money for and a good opportunity to, get a little bit of work, build your networks in a possible environment that you want to work in, and yeah, get a bit of money for it. So I was quite fortunate. I got to. I was working at Osborne Park Hospital. I was working as a physio assistant. So I got to see a lot of patients, and I was kind of client focused. So I'd get in, I'd do workouts with patients, and you kind of see them progress and get better throughout their journey. So it was very, very rewarding, and I quite enjoyed being able to see this difference that you have on people's lives. And at the end of the year, I was told about the graduate program, and I was encouraged to apply. So I thought, well, it's a year's work. It's good money. It's something that I wasn't really sure about doing, but I figured it's an opportunity, a great opportunity. So, you know, you might not get another one of these coming around sometime. So just take it and see where it takes you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's just dive in and, give it a crack, give it a try. And, and you can always change. That's the thing. I think a lot of people have this pressure thinking they have to choose one thing and that's what they're going to stay on that roller coaster for the rest of their life, but we have choices, free will, and we can move around and, stay on that journey to finding that passion. And also, I was going to say, speaking of passion, is that did you manage to balance like playing football while doing all these things?
Yeah. So I'm still playing footy now. So
Yeah.
I'm playing waffle for Swan
Oh,
Districts.
brilliant. Yeah.
So yeah, it is a hard lifestyle, and you have to make a lot of sacrifices. But at the end of the day, if that's what you want to do, you've just gotta toughen up and do it. Uni, going to uni and studying and doing football was tough because you have this football thing going on at the back of your mind all the time. Instead of when you're sitting down at your desk studying all day, you kind of think to yourself, oh, maybe I should be going out, getting fit, going to the gym, just getting the body right for footy.
Yeah.
And then you go out and do that stuff, and then you're like, oh, geez, I got this uni thing, these uni assignments. So I guess just that mental balance between them, it can be very tough and challenging at times, but you've just got to try find whatever works for you. So I found like just trying to be organised, trying to set time aside, get my workouts, get my runs in first thing in the morning. So then I'm like, okay, if I sit at the desk all day, at least I've gone for my run. If I feel like doing more after, then great.
Yeah.
But if not, I've already done the work. So So I guess that's just a part of being self-aware of yourself and what helps you or what distracts you or prevents you from achieving what you want to achieve, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Being conscious of all those things. And absolutely, you can hear it with all that you've shared. And thank you. And I think this might lead to, think would be a great segue into what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self? And or like your high school self. What if they were sitting on the other end of the Zoom or they're listening right now? What advice would you give them? Give yourself?
I'd probably, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'd probably just say, have a good time, enjoy yourself. You don't have to be overly critical or, overly obsessed with something that you want to do.
Yep.
It's just as long as you're enjoying yourself, having a good time, showing up and trying to be present in the moment and engaged in what you're doing. I guess that would probably be the biggest thing is try to enjoy what you're doing, or at least try to see a positive side of it. So like if you're not enjoying what you're doing, well, like maybe you can change your mindset. I'm a heavy believer on mindset and habits and just trying to be aware of yourself and figure out what makes you tick. So I guess if you can build that self-awareness and if you can build that that mindset of, how do you want to go about things early on, then that's going to help you later on down the track. And also some advice I guess, is just be a good person. I found
it helps.
I've definitely found that if you're a good person, people like you, you're able to build relationships. If you can maintain these relationships as well, that's going to take you a lot further than if you're some super genius Albert Einstein dude who, can't maintain a relationship with anyone. No one's going to want to work with you. No one's going to want to provide you any opportunities. And you're just making the the road more difficult for yourself. So I guess, yeah, just be authentic, be yourself, and just try to be a good person.
Yeah, absolutely. That was brilliant advice. And I think a lot of young people take that uh, with full steed. And because in the last few days, and you'll hear over this week for everyone listening today, is that whole thing about showing up as well and also giving it a crack. And the other speakers you'll hear throughout the week have shared exactly, Jiah, in terms of that, resilience and persistence, and just to show up and give it a crack, which is often, is very hard to do, especially in the moment. But to hear role models like yourself share that and share your story, and how just by simply identifying your passion or sticking to your passion, how, and those working within the health department, those kind of things, health and education, led you down this path of being clear as to where you want to go. And so often young people go around the bend trying to find out, what they want to do, dipping their toe in all these different areas. And once you establish or even stay true to that passion, it will guide you straight to, the heart of it, which I'm so glad to see deadly fellas like yourself that have cut to the core and driven directly by that passion, and still doing football, playing football, and doing all those things as well, which you don't have to compromise one for the other. You can balance both with support, with that positivity as well. And one of the last questions I'd like to ask you, just for fun, is if money was no object, if you didn't have to worry about money at all, what would you do, brother?
Um, there's a lot of things I do. I guess
Yeah, yeah,
my two big things, I guess, is obviously that AFL dream is still there.
yeah,
So just still trying to achieve that and go on for that, and give it a crack. I guess that would probably be one of the major things I'd love to still be able to achieve, regardless of money or other things. I'd just like to, I guess, just that sense of being like, oh yeah, I've made it there. I got there. I've always wanted to get there, and I finally got there.
yeah,
I guess that's probably one of them. But then the other one I'd say is definitely traveling. Like just experiencing, the world. Like it's so big, so unique. Every place is different. It's just I'd love to. It's very hard, especially like so I'm working full time now, footy on the weekends and stuff. It's
yeah.
almost impossible to travel. So I guess just trying to just try to see the world and explore new places, see new things, learn more about culture, and um, I guess learn stories from places that
Absolutely.
may go to. And I guess that's probably one of the main things outside of footy is just trying to find all those experiences and uh, live a cool life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And with, travel, you get, absorb all different perspectives, understanding of life in this bit more holistically as to, why we're here and why we do the things we do. And definitely, if you're out there, don't be afraid to travel. We talk a lot about gap years as well. And we have so much opportunities through our expo this year with our booths on the Future Footprint stage. And please check that out. We have all the universities from Curtin to the Coolbadi Center, Murdoch, UWA, all of them that are on there that are able to provide you and guide you. And so with that, I'd love to say thank you, Jiah Reidy. I'm sure that a lot of our viewers today sitting by listening to you and your story have been inspired and empowered, to, explore different things, new things, and have a go, show up, and pursue that passion. So thank you, brother. And I
That's
can't
got
wait to see and hear more about you and see you do more deadly things.
awesome. Thanks for that, Scott. Much appreciated.
Thank you. No worries. Cheers, brother.